I don't know what the hell happened to my video. We'll do it here.
Welcome to Burning Daylight Sports with Matt McKinley, Eric Winkler, and Jake Rehnquist. Join us every Tuesday for betting lines, hot takes, and a whole lot of fun.
All right, now we're really ready. I fucking love the get up.
Oh, I'm ready for baseball season. I got a batting helmet, a bat. Let's see, bat, custom Detroit Tigers logo, Jacob Rehnquist.
Nice. Did you get that at the factory?
I did. Yeah, I went there for my friend's bachelor party, and we all got custom bats made.
That's dope. I went. Had been senior year of high school. We went for National FFA convention in Louisville, and that's a really cool factory. Like the museum and everything. They got or when I was there, they had the holograph pitching machine of Greg Maddux, and dude was a fucking wizard with a baseball.
Oh, so you could go stay in the box and watch. I mean, it's behind plexiglass, but you could watch. They'd like run it up to like 102. I think it was like the maybe Chapman at that point or something like that.
Oh yeah,
pitch. And man, that's dude. There's no way I'd ever get one on that ball. But yeah. So the helmet is let's see. That one it's Miguel Cabrera 3000 hit sign helmet.
Hell yeah. I don't think I ever got to see Miguel bat in person. He's one I wish I would have, because he was just a truly great hitter. I got to see Pujols. I got to see Helton. I got to see Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn, the all-time wizard of just getting hits. Like no power whatsoever, but the guy was always on base.
I don't know if I ever actually saw Tony Gwynn. I might have. I didn't go to many games when I was younger.
I actually got a foul ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to it. It was before I got put in foster care and whatever. But it was we were in Denver for state baseball, and we had host families, and we got to go to a Rockies game, and that was a wild experience. There was this old black dude just smoked off his ass. I mean, he drank so many beers, and we were in I forget where our original tickets were, but it was classic Rockies in the day. Like nobody was there, and you know, midday game. But we ended up like in the right field corner, and this old black guy was just screaming at Larry Walker. He's like, "Hey Larry, me and you after the game, we're gonna go fucking party. I'm bringing the limo."
Nice.
Yeah, it was dope. And then then of course they played the Padres, and I got it was like a down the first baseline foul ball, and the guy tossed it to me, and it was from Tony Gwynn. So I was like, that was fucking dope. I wish I still had
it. Yeah, that's too bad. So I mean, I've had season tickets for like the last I think this is maybe the 10th or 11th year, 11th, 12th, something like that. But we don't really sit in foul territory. We've never have. And so I've caught 2 balls ever.
Really?
Foul balls. Just we sit right behind home plate, and like it's very few balls that come directly back. And so I caught one of this last season. Pop up, caught it clean. I kind of like I never catch a ball, but I always kind of every time when I sit down, I always kind of look, all right, where's some kids that I could like toss a ball to if I if I do catch one. And so there's this girl, maybe 3-4 rows in front of me, a few seats over. I clock her when I'm sitting down. She's sitting with 2 older guys. I catch that ball, and there's this dude sitting next to her, kind of think it's her dad. Toss it to him. I put it at the girl, toss it to him, and he just, and I didn't look at it, but my attendant, who I know because I've sits there for like we've got seats years now. She comes over.
Yeah.
That guy just like pocketed that ball, didn't give it to the girl.
No shit. What a piece of shit.
So I guess that wasn't her dad. It was like her dad's friend or something. Her dad was like going to the bathroom, getting a beer or whatever.
That's
she goes over. She goes over. She's this little like 70-year-old lady. She comes up to about here on me. I'm not that tall. Nice. She's like 5 foot nothing. Like maybe 100 pounds. She goes over and she's like, she told me this after. She said, if you don't give me that ball, this dude's gonna come kick your ass. Or
that's awesome.
Give the girl the ball. So he gave it to her, and then he came over and apologized. But I'm like, yo, you think I'm gonna throw a ball to like some 50-year-old dude?
Yeah, come on.
Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Come on, bro. Etiquette, man. Etiquette. It's just, I don't know. That's cool. I love like all the attendant people at baseball stadiums. Like they're all ancient, and they've just like but they've usually been doing it for like 10 years or more. And some of them have been like that's their only job they've ever had is just managing a section at a ballpark.
This lady's been doing it since she retired. She's been in my section the entire time I've been there. We moved seats maybe 8 years ago to these ones, and we're the last seats in the section. So she kind of just stands there. So we just kind of talk in between action all the time. Nice lady, but she knows everything about baseball too, just because she's just sitting there watching it all day.
That's awesome. That'd be like a dream retirement job. It just go hang out at the ballpark every day in the spring and the summer.
Awesome. Absolutely. I really fucked up this year. I should have done that.
No shit. Just go.
I was there half the time, anyways.
Do they still have the beer guys walking down the aisle?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I know everything's cashless now, but
they all got the little like wireless.
Oh, I see. It's been a hot minute since I've been to a major league game, but they don't have people going down in the stands at Reno, but it's a small park because it's AAA, but we're gonna go to an A's game in Sacramento this year at some point. I don't know when, but I just like Sacramento's about 3 hours for us, so it'll be for one season, or I guess maybe 2. It sounds like it's just going to be 1 season.
Oh, really? I heard 2.
Is it 2? I hope it's 2. I mean, that if they're in Sacramento 2 years, like that's literally the closest. That'll be the closest baseball team to us in Major League, anyways. So yeah, and then they're moving to Vegas, and I like it because there's no divisional conflicts. So that's going to be the Rockies are still the number 1 team. They always will be, but I'm not gonna invest any energy into the Rockies because they haven't earned any of my energy. So I'm going to become an A's fan.
Well, I mean, I still like the Rockies, but I'm fine with moving my number 1 team to the Tigers. First of all, just because I've been to a ridiculous amount of games now, but also the Rockies ownership just came out and said, "Hey, we're just never going to spend the money to be an elite team.
Yeah. So like I'm just not gonna. I've got to have a new team, and then our I guess until the A's moved to Sacramento, it was the Giants or the A's were the closest team to us, and Giants I can't root for them. They're division rivalry. I tried the Diamondbacks because the Aces are the AAA affiliate, and I've really never had an issue with the Diamondbacks, but it's still in the division. You can't now. I have no issue rooting for the A's because I don't have really an American League team anymore, and there's no conflict. They're a different league, and now they're going to be the hometown team. So. Might as well jump on board.
Yeah, I mean, my best friend's wife is a big Padres fan. She grew up in San Diego, so I kind of follow them a bit. I know they're division with the Rockies, but they're the least offensive division rival.
Yeah,
for the Rockies.
Yeah. I feel the same about the Diamondbacks and the Padres. You know, like they're in the division, but I don't hate them. I can't bring myself to hate them, and the Padres were fun as fuck in the postseason this year. So I was really rooting for them.
Last couple of years,
yeah, like they're fun as fuck. So I've got no problem rooting for them, but they're still. They can't ever be my team because they're in division. So the A's that clears it up. So that's my team. And Dallas Brady's hilarious. He's their play-by-play guy. So like,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's their TV play-by-play. So Jenny
Cavanaugh.
Yeah, it's her and Dallas Braden is their TV crew.
Yeah, so she was my year in high school, and she also went to CSU.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think I had heard that somewhere.
She's also made some really bad calls this last year.
I think she's
like her first year, so maybe I'll give her a pass for now. But
I'll let it slide. I'm more of a radio baseball guy, anyways. Like I love watching the game, but. There's nothing like a good radio announcer. Like I spent so much time in the tractor or in the pickup listening to baseball when I was younger that like I grew up in like that old school mold of baseball. Even though like we were coming into the modern age and I'm still catching up to the modern statistics and whatnot and the
yeah. I mean I listen to a lot of radio. I mean. We didn't have cable when I was a kid, so I'd listen to all the games.
Yeah.
Except for like maybe the one game I get to see on TV a week. Listen to it. And then like all throughout college, like, I'd be working at school for most of the games. So if it was work, we'd always play the radio.
Yeah. Yeah. I always have 850 in the background and it's I don't know, and it's a legit talent to be a baseball radio guy. Like it's you got to be engaging enough, but also just call the game. But there's a lot of downtime.
I mean, same with TV too. So like the Tigers got a new announcer last year. Jason Benetti he was at the Sox before, but the TV was not great previously, and I'd always watch it on mute and either like listen to a podcast or do something, maybe listen to the radio broadcast instead. But this year it's actually worth listening to because he's just such a great announcer. I mean, it's crazy how much better like the experience is with a good announcer.
Well, and on that note, we haven't covered baseball a ton since the World Series, but Bob Uecker died. I mean, the literal voice of baseball. Like that dude was truly a national treasure. But as a former big leaguer, and he'll admittedly, he says, not of a good one, but like the greatest baseball announcer that's ever been. I mean, he was.
I mean, he's just so funny too. I mean, it's just hilarious. There's like so many stories coming out after he died. One of my favorites was when he was actually a player. He was St. Louis. He was in St. Louis, and they were doing picture day with the team, and they had to come back and retake it because him and Bob Gibson were holding hands. It was subtle enough that they didn't really notice it when they did it. They're like, we can't have this, so we got to come back. We got to redo this.
No, that's funny. And I mean, that's especially funny given the time because, like the whole color divide. But then also you couldn't be gay. And if you got a black dude and a white dude doing some gay shit, everybody's mind is blown.
Yeah.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah, definitely. This is a good one. But yeah, he was a great announcer. I mean, obviously just like the highlight of Major League.
Yeah, just a bit outside. I mean, like you don't even have to watch. Like I know people that have never seen that movie that know that line. I mean, everybody knows that line, and I don't know. He just absolute classic, and he's a character that only baseball could produce, and that I don't know. There's something like we just finished the Super Bowl, which has only crushed its previous record ratings every year. Like that, it's America's sport at this point, but baseball's still America's pastime, and that's.
I heard the Super Bowl was down a little bit.
Was it?
Well, so I think the halftime show was the highest watched halftime show.
Really?
But I think the second half, everyone just tuned out, turned it off. I mean, it was a shit game.
Yeah, it was. Philly's D line was fucking humming though. God damn, they were. Then didn't blitz all game and sacked him 6 times, picked him off twice. Third one called back.
Yeah, I honestly didn't watch the second half either, but they're doing work.
Yeah. When we were texting, I just that was the only thing I could see is like that defensive line is just fucking shit up. Mahomes had no time, and I'm no fan of Philadelphia sports. I last couple of years I not so much last year, but the year before when they made it to the Super Bowl, and this year I like the Eagles as a team. They're a fun team, but I can't bring myself to root for Philadelphia except for them to burn the city down, which they do when they make a championship, win or lose. And they did not disappoint. I mean, a little disappointing that nobody died climbing a grease pole, but outside of that, they still it was the spectacle we all knew was coming.
Oh yeah, I've been enjoying all the Instagram clips of people going crazy.
I know they're riding horses. Yeah, well, the original story is like they stole a cop's horse, which sounds like something that would happen in Philadelphia. But after they rode by, like, nah, that's not a police horse.
Okay, so I meant to ask you something. Like, it didn't look like it, but
no, that looked like just some backyard rider had a saddle like that. That wasn't like mounted cop type of saddle.
But also, I mean, it kind of looked like people who knew how to ride a horse.
Oh yeah, no, there wasn't anything particularly wrong with their riding. Like you could nitpick it for sure, but they actually looked like they knew how to ride. But it looked like something that you would pull out of like my tack room, like some of the blankets. I think I have probably one of those same blankets, but if you ever look at those mounted cops, like they have a very, I mean, it's a uniform, so it's they have a distinct style, and those they were riding Western saddles, and whereas police, particularly like East Coast police, is going to be more like a Western type saddle, or I mean, English type saddle, where yeah, it I don't
Bro,
think
you
they. I
fucking lost me
want
there.
it. I want. I want it to be real that they stole a police horse. That would actually make me love Philadelphia for the rest of my life. But I don't think they did. I think they were just wilding out. You know,
Dude, it's also crazy. Like, this is downtown Philly. Like, where you got?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you get those horses from?
It's wild. Like pretty much every major metropolitan center has these little black cowboy groups that they usually when they migrated from the south, their ancestors, you know, they were herdsmen at the time and cowboys, and then they like built a little club. So there's like Compton has one, New York has one, Philly. So I mean
Crazy.
yeah, it's pretty cool history, actually. They it was several years ago at the Cowboy Poetry Gathering. That was like their highlight was the Black Cowboy, and so there was they did a big like spotlight on the Compton Cowboys, and there ain't a single one of them that actually work cows, but they have that heritage of you know, horsemanship and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. So that would be that's probably what it was in Philly. But the better story is they stole the cop's horse. That'd be even better.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about horse. I guess, but my niece just had to put her horse down, but she's big into horses. But that's about all I know about horses, except for 2 times that I've had interaction with horses in Fort Collins. One was at Sully's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, someone rode their horse to the bar.
That's funny.
Yeah, nothing really happened. And the other time was Tour de Fat. Someone rode their horse into Stakeout.
Stakeout's a better place than Sully's. At least it's got wood
they rode the
floors.
horse inside the bar.
Yeah, I mean, neither one's a good idea, but Stakeout over Sully's, because at least Stakeout has a wood floor.
It's got a wood floor and higher ceilings. I mean, I think you can't really make it inside as Sully's. He didn't go inside. He just tied his horse up outside and went in drinking all day.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Yeah.
I've never, I don't think I've ever rode my horse up to the bar. It's a bucket list deal, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, the NFL season ended pretty anticlimactically. I was glad to see the Chiefs get their shit pushed in, but outside of that, I don't know. There's a lot of intriguing, you know, side stories and whatnot, but I don't care to cover them because pitchers and catchers report this week, so baseball's back. And
baseball's back.
I'm happy about that. It's fuck yeah.
I'm so excited.
I am too. I got my Rockies hat on. I'm rooting for them to lose 110 games this year, because if they're not going to spend the money, like, fuck it, let's set a record. Let's go for that White Sox record. Let's go. I sent you guys the screenshot on mybookie.com. The White Sox and the Rockies are tied for the highest odds to win the World Series next year at plus 50,000. So I think we're going to have another screaming hot race at the end of the season as to who's the actual shittiest team in baseball. Is it going to be the Sox? Is it going to be the Rockies? I think it's going to be none of the above. I think maybe the White Sox win 60 games this year, maybe. Rockies will they'll do just enough to not be completely terrible, and it'll be like the Angels or somebody that takes the bottom slot. But
Oh, I don't think the Angels made a bunch of moves.
have they?
Yeah, and they got. I mean, when healthy, one of the best players ever. Ever.
True.
They never do that bad. They're gonna win like somewhere between 75 and 83 wins.
Oh, okay. All right, so they're going to be on the Rockies level. That's where I'm putting the Rockies at this year.
I mean, that's kind of what the Angels always do. They don't make the playoffs, and they're never like terrible. They're just okay.
That's usually how the Rockies are too. Like I mean, last year was obviously a terrible year. They lost 101.
Yeah.
But typically they're in that like 70 to 80 game wins every year, and like
enough
just
to
enough
not piss off the fans.
Yeah, but like not enough to like where the ownership is like, oh, we got to go spend some money because we're on the cusp of something here. Yeah, I don't know that's a good comparison. The Angels and the Rockies, they're except the Angels every now and then will. I guess the Rockies every now and then will too spend some money, but the Angels usually they usually spend a little better when they do go spend big money.
They spent a ton of money. Yeah, I mean Anthony Rendon's a big ass contract. Obviously,
I forgot about Rendon.
Trout's a huge contract. Rendon just got told that he's not starting to third base anymore.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he hasn't played really at all, has he?
No, and he's not good when he does.
So, well, baseball's I think maybe it's just because there's so many people in and out of the big leagues that man, so much sunk money in baseball contracts. Like don't the Dodgers have like $1 billion out in deferred payments right now?
Oh, I mean, deferred payments is like just blowing up there. Yeah, they got. I mean, I think it's even more after. Well, yeah, it's over $1 billion.
That's insane. That's insane. And they're struggling to be relevant in the media sphere. Like they had probably their best season ratings wise in quite some time this last year. And you got to think that's going to improve, but man, it's just like how are you guys not? I don't know. There's so many, especially in the playoffs. If they made all of those night games, it would I don't know. Like everybody gets stoked for the playoffs, and then like nobody can see the division series because it's when you're at work.
Well, I mean, you guys it's even worse for you guys on the West Coast.
Oh yeah. The West Coast. Yeah, if it's East Coast teams playing, yeah, they're done by the time I'm going to lunch almost.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't know, but I mean, like they just won the World Series. They want to know. Well, I mean, they won in 2020, right?
Yeah,
barely counts.
Nobody counts that.
But they've also won the division for like
15 years or some shit. Like an absurd number of years in a row they've won the division. And I mean, yeah, 2 rings technically, but nobody really counts 2020 because what was that, 100 game season?
60.
Oh, 60 game season, right? Yeah, does not count. And then so their first their only legit ring was this past year, and they've won 14 or 15 years in a row, won the division. You're like, I don't know.
But then they're in a gigantic market.
Yeah.
they can afford,
Yeah.
like even with another team in the city, like they can still afford to just do this because, I mean, yeah, if you're big team,
And they just keep they're on God mode in in the show. They're just like, money doesn't mean anything. We're gonna get all the Japanese big names. We're gonna get all the big name free agents. We're just there's like, fuck you. We're spending money.
well,
Like,
so and like I kind of don't like it that they just go out and like just spend a ton of money. I mean, it seems like the Yankees from
Evil
the
Empire,
90s or
man.
2000s, but stuff is some of these smaller teams that just don't spend any fucking money at all.
Right.
I kind of like that there's not like a real salary cap in baseball, but I think maybe they should. There sort of is. There's like some luxury tax. If you go over, you have to pay huge luxury tax, which they're going to do pretty much forever now. But I would say before I try to institute a salary, like a hard salary cap, I'd rather institute a salary floor.
Right. I'm in the same boat, or I've heard it. There's another podcast I was listening to. He was like, there should be a way where the other owners can vote you out. Like you're forced to sell the team if you don't meet a minimum expectation. And I don't know how that would work, but I'm not opposed to the idea of it, because if you talk to any Rockies fan, it's like, if the Monforts would sell the fucking team, and it pains me as a Rockies fan, because Denver's such a good baseball town too. Like, Coors Field's a great park, and when there's a legit product on the field, like, Rockies fans show the fuck up.
Dude, it doesn't matter. They show up if they're bad.
Right. Yeah.
But so actually, I just saw something this week that still the highest attendance ever for a year was the Rockies in '93.
Yeah.
But they still show up all the time. And that's kind of the problem, is because even if they're bad, people show up, and so the boppers spend money.
I know.
But
they
still do usually sit around like the middle of the pack for spending.
Yeah.
It's not like they're the A's or like KC or Marlins or something like spending under 100,000 or 100 million. I mean, they're still spending like $170 million payroll.
Yeah,
they're just not good at spending the money.
No, that's the thing. They're shit owners, and yeah, I don't know. Like, Kansas City doesn't ever spend any money until they think they have a shot, and then they're like, all right, let's go get this. And then they then they open up the checkbook, and it usually works out pretty well for them. And the Rockies just don't ever do that.
I kind of thought KC was going to do that this year.
They should have.
Maybe next year is when they really going to, open up the coffers and
I don't know what they got coming up prospect wise, but it seemed like that. Like, this was a good year for them to go out and get a few pieces, because you made the ALCS.
Also, Witt just had one of the best shortstop seasons in the last 100 years.
Yeah, and it got overshadowed because Shohei's a robot and just did robot shit. And so, he had one of the best seasons of all time, and people just don't talk about it because he got overshadowed by LA. And what are you gonna do?
Small market.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's but it seemed like that was that was a good team for them to pony up and let's go on a run for a couple of years and see what we can do. Maybe you win a couple, maybe you only win one, but you already made the ALCS. You can get there. So
Well, and I mean that's kind of what you're saying is like about 10 years ago is when they, they're like, oh, now's the time, spend a bunch of money, and they went to
Yep.
2 World Series. They didn't win, but you make it every 10 years. You're gonna keep your fan base happy.
Well, honestly, especially at a small market like that, I mean, they play it right, and Royals fans are fucking rabid too. I mean, it's a great fan base, so they play it right. And yeah, I think we're too forgiving as a Rockies fan base. Like we need to have the old Indians fans in Major League,
Yeah,
just talking shit all the time. I mean, we kind of do, but it's also just a fucking great place to go watch a baseball game. So if you're in Denver, why not? And yeah, just I don't know. When people keep showing up, the ownership has no real incentive to change it because they keep making money. So
yeah,
what are you gonna do? Well, let's start with the Hall of Fame. I wanted to get some. Well, we talked about doing the Hall of Fame show, and it never really panned out. But so we had Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner get named to the 2025 All-Star class. Ichiro was almost unanimous. 99.7. So what do you have? One vote against?
One vote against.
I mean, I fucking hate Hall of Fame voters. They're fickle as shit, and then they kind of just remind me of Gerald Bravlovsky when he's sniffing his own farts.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that someone left him off the ballot.
I mean, you can. It's kind of like the argument with Tony Gwynn. You're like, oh, he only hit singles. Well, okay, but he still had 4,000 fucking hits. And Greg Maddux, who is arguably the greatest of all time, he's in that conversation. Was like, he has that quote. He's like, it's position or spin and speed, and our speed and location, and then if you can spin and location, and then if you can change your speed, you've got him. And he's like, and everyone except for that goddamn Tony Gwynn, that dude had he just never struck out, never fucking struck out. And yeah, it's like I don't care if he only hit singles. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. Ichiro same way. And yeah, who's the fucking douchebag that is like, no, he doesn't belong there?
Oh, I mean, it's like some old dude who's like, oh, you should get it on your first try.
I fought against his kind in the war.
Seriously, I mean, this is crazy. Like, yeah, I don't know who it is. They should get their ballot taken away.
I will say, as far as the ballot, Billy Wagner, it was his last year on the ballot. Great pitcher for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like some of these numbers, like Jaws are like HOFS, like those are some good indicators. But I don't know. As a closer, like you just kind of get put on a different level. Like you don't get the same kind of
that's
the same kind of numbers.
That's exactly right. CC Sabathia, he was first ballot, 86.8% of the vote. I got no problem with that. That dude was a beast.
Oh, I mean, I think it absolutely deserves a first ballot. Yeah.
Well, you look at like last year, it was we had Beltran, Andrew Jones, Chase Utley, and third ballot, eighth ballot, second ballot. I got no issue with either of those, but yeah, CC Sabathia I think he was pretty clear first ballot. I mean, that's kind of what we said when the list came out. We said Ichiro, CC will get in.
I kind of thought Felix might get in first ballot.
I kind of did too.
I understand that like he doesn't have the traditional stats because the Mariners kind of sucked the whole time.
Yeah, but man, he was a motherfucker in his heyday.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I mean it's the hardest Hall of Fame to get into. And there's just so many players that come through. And it's funny, like, you know, I David Wright was on that list, and I didn't see it happen, and it didn't happen. But then you go back and look, and you're like, I mean, man, in his heyday, he was a motherfucker, though.
Sure,
like,
but he had he had injury problems like the last half of his career, and that's part of it. It's not just being good; it's being good for a long time.
Right. And so I remember I was talking with Aaron, and I was like, well, I was trying to, like, off the top of my head, I was like, who's another third baseman? I was like, well, and the first one that came to mind, I was like, Chipper Jones. I was like, maybe it's not a fair comparison. But I was like, well, no, it is a fair comparison. We're talking about the fucking Hall of Fame. And Chipper Jones was a switch hitter and arguably the best of all time. But he's also a third baseman. And when you look at the numbers, like, I mean, yeah, David Wright wasn't really that close, you know?
No, not even no.
And so you're just like, okay, well, while he was awesome in his day, yeah, I think maybe he'll get into the Hall of Fame. I don't think he will. I'm not sure he deserves to be there, but there is an argument to be made, but definitely wasn't worthy of a first ballot.
No, I don't know. Scroll down. What percent did you even get? It's got to be pretty low.
Let's see. He got right, 32, 8.1%.
I mean, he barely even made the cut to stay on the ballot.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, when we're talking about the best of all time. So like there is no unfair comparison. You're like, no, you're going up against the best of the best. Like you throw out every number you can and compare it, and like, well, they don't hold up. So,
I mean, of these Beltran, guys who are so. Yeah, who's still on the ballot next year? I mean, Beltran, he's certainly he needs 5%. He's got to get it. He deserves it.
Yeah. Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones he's deserved. I mean, it's crazy that it's the 8th year. I mean,
I know it. But he's only at 66%.
He's got like 10 Gold Gloves or something like that, and 400 home runs. I mean. Yeah, these are like the kind of things that you look after like, this. Like, it's crazy, and he was on like he was on winning teams like
1,287 RBI.
The batting average hurts, but like he's a great player, and like he's like he's definitely an above average offensive player, but he's a great defender too.
Elite offender.
He's an elite defender. Elite defender on a team that won 14 straight divisions. Like,
yeah. Well, and like I get making him wait a year or two, but 8 years, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's again. I hate the whole Hall of Fame voting process. Chase Utley was at 39.8% second year.
He'll definitely get in at some point.
He'll get in. I think he probably deserves it. I like Chase Utley, but he was kind of he was more of a vibes type player. You know, he was undersized, gritty. Wasn't a flashy player. But he was solid. Guy you want on your team, but he wasn't. He wasn't an A-Rod. He wasn't a Manny. He wasn't a Beltran. You know, he was just a good all-around type of player. But he's only second year on the ballot. He'll get in. A-Rod, do you think he gets in?
No.
I mean, if somebody's voting against Ichiro, I don't think there's any chance A-Rod gets in. I don't know about you. I kind of I'm more of the asterisk type. Like I put them in the Hall of Fame for their time in the game. They're the best there was. Everybody was on the gas. Just like, hey, this is the period it was. I don't.
It was the period. It's also, I mean, it kind of saved baseball. Like,
I mean, it was fucking awesome, wasn't it?
yeah.
And that's what made guys like Griffey so great, because he wasn't even on the gas and he was still at the top during that period. You know, like
yeah. I mean, what was it? Was it 98? This is a big home run
think
race.
so. Yeah.
I mean, everyone forgets that Griffey was right there until the last month.
Right there. Still to this day, I always say that he's the prettiest swing ever in baseball. Like that, he could strike out looking good. I mean that there's something about a left-handed swing, anyways. But Griffey had the prettiest.
Oh, it's great.
Just beautiful swing. A-Rod, Manny, he's got the steroid. But you look at A-Rod and Manny, both clearly deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. There's the controversy or whatever, but on steroids. But again, everybody was on the fucking gas. I can't stand A-Rod as a person. I love Manny Ramirez as a person. That guy is I would hate to be his manager. I would love and hate him on my team at the same time. But as just a fan of baseball, Manny Ramirez is he's one of the best of all time.
The theatrics is great.
Manny being Manny is some of the best stuff ever. And also just name somebody else you'd want to have at bat in a clutch moment in the playoffs. I mean, Manny came in clutch all the time.
True.
Andy Pettit, he was another one. Steroid allegations, but and he was like he was. I mean, they had Roger Clemens and what's his name? Randy Johnson at the same time as Andy Pettit. So he took a smaller role, but that guy also was a motherfucker. Yeah,
he was good. I mean, it's got to be those allegations, because otherwise you'd expect him to be
7th year on the ballot, and he's only at 27.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to make it at that point.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, probably Hernandez, no one. Yeah, I mean, Felix Hernandez, I think he'll make it 20%.
I think so too.
That's a solid opening, I think, but he might be like an 8th year kind of guy.
Bobby Abreu, isn't he the one that won the home run derby at Coors when they had the?
I forget that.
I don't know if it was the. I think so. I think it was Bobby Abreu. He's another one. He was a motherfucker for like a brief amount of time, like 3 or 4 year stretch. He was as good as it got, but then he just faded off.
Yeah. Jimmy Rollins, 4th year, 18%. I don't know. I mean the number. I guess the numbers don't show it, but like I kind of would have thought he would be maybe closer.
I kind of thought so too.
To, like Chase Utley.
Right. I would have, without looking at the stats, I would have put Rollins over Utley, honestly, as the most likely to get in. And then you look at him, and I mean, so Jimmy Rollins had he had 230 home runs. Utley had 259. Pedroia had, I'm not Pedroia. Rollins had 936 to 1025. I mean, pretty comparable, but Utley was a little bit better on What do you have on stolen bases? 470 to 312. I mean, Rollins.
Utley's at 154.
Oh yeah, 154 to 470, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wonder what the.
I mean, like look at like OPS slugging percent, like slugging. Like he looks like he hits a little bit higher.
OPS 837 to 743.
Utley line 5.
Oh, okay. So 823 to 743.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, you're right. So, Rollins has been on for 4 years now. He's at 18%. We'll see if he gets in. Vizquel, Pedroia will get in him at some point. That was his first year. He got 11.9. Burley was a motherfucker. He was a National League pitcher in the American League. That guy was. He didn't need a pitch clock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he makes it. I think he's good. I don't think he makes it.
Same here. I don't know if he deserves to be in there, but like I enjoyed Mark Burley. He was kind of one of my favorites because for all you young folks, back in the day, the National League was known for moving shit along where the American League would draw everything out and then the pitchers didn't bat. So, but Mark Burley was like the exception in the American League. He was just got the ball back. He was on the mound, ready to go. And he there was a quick game if Mark Burley was on the mound.
He's got a perfect game, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think that does that get you an automatic Hall of Fame bid?
No.
I think you got to go a certain number of years, and I don't know.
There's some weird perfect games that they don't deserve it.
That's true. He deserved that one.
Well, I mean, Hall of Fame, you know.
Yeah, right. No, I'm just saying he that was a legit, perfect game. It's gotta add in there somewhere, but he's fifth year on the ballot.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think so either. Francisco Rod, that was K-Rod, right?
K-Rod, I mean, third year 10%. It's gonna be really hard. Yeah,
and the closer too.
I know, but he's a good fucking closer. He got more saves than Billy Wagner.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have. He looks like he does. He doesn't have the raw numbers, but he was good. He's
got a 1.155 WHIP. Billy Wagner had a .998, so better. ERA of 2.31 for Billy and 2.86 for K-Rod.
Those are good numbers.
Pretty good. Innings 903 to 9. So K-Rod's got more innings under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at WAR or Jaws, they're really similar.
Yeah.
we'll see. I think he still got the record for most saves of the season.
I think so. I mean, we'll see. 24.2, 27.7 WAR. Jaws is 31.6 and 31. I mean, it's his first or third year on the ballot. He's at 10.2. See, he's one. I think he should be. I don't know, maybe year 5 or 6, but throw him in. I mean, I guess Billy Wagner was 10th year before he got in. I don't know. He's one where I think he should be up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should consider him at least.
That guy had had a pretty good run where he was damn near unhittable.
Yeah.
And like not just a couple years. I mean, he did it for a little while. David Wright, we talked about him. Torrey Hunter.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised on this.
I'm surprised he's still even on the ballot, honestly. Like,
For real.
He had a long career and he was a good player, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Well, he was kind of like who's the dude for Pittsburgh? What's his name?
McCutcheon?
Torrey Hunter is like a poor man's McCutcheon.
Yeah, I mean, McCutcheon's a good player. I don't know if he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but he's a good player, and he's an MVP.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But Torrey Hunter's like a same player, but a little bit less.
Yeah.
Is my same McCutcheon. I'm same boat with you. Like he's a great player. I don't think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't. Yeah, you're probably right. Big fan of. Furries.
I won't bitch if he makes it, but I also won't bitch if he doesn't make it. You know, like he's kind of right on that cusp. And then Torrey Hunter's like a level below that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Ian Kinsler, kind of on that same boat. So the X means they're not coming back.
Out. Yeah, you got to make 5%.
So Ian Kinsler, Russell Martin, Brian McCann, Tulo's out, Adam Jones, Curtis Granderson, Cargo's out, Zobrist, Fernando Rodney, Hanley Ramirez. Yeah, that all sounds about right.
Yeah.
Russell Martin, maybe I could make a little of a case for.
That's a hard case to make.
Yeah. Honestly, probably Kinsler would be a better case than of all of them.
Especially since he's a second baseman, so like,
as
a second baseman, like you go, not so great, not necessarily known for like good hitting, and he was a good hitter.
Tulo, if he could have not been hurt a lot more, he could have been up there, but he the injuries caught up, and he just.
Same thing for David Wright, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty much. That's kind of, that's the story of a lot of baseball guys. It's just they were a motherfucker when they were a motherfucker, but it didn't last. And but that's the Hall of Fame for you. I mean, it's.
Yep.
I wish there was a better voting process, or at least better people voting on it. But I don't know. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, it's better than the MVP voting, at least.
Yeah, that's true. Did we go over any of the awards? We know that Scooble got the Triple Crown. MVP went to Shohei and Judge, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Sale got the other MVP. And then it was Skeens and who's the Skeens and someone from New York at
for Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
It wasn't that kid from Arizona, or not Arizona, for the Padres, Jackson Merrill?
No, he took second to Skeens.
Okay. Oh yeah, National League. I don't know.
It was a pitcher, I think, who got the
okay.
Pitcher from the Yankees, maybe.
Well, the great thing is we do have the internet, and we can look that up. AL Rookie. Gill. That's who it was. Yeah, Hill. Yeah. I got no arguments on those.
No, me neither.
What do you think about the Yankees going forward? It seemed like in the playoffs and the series, Soto went out and got his money, and Yankees didn't want to pay him. They paid Judge. Judge is the face of the franchise, and he had a Bill Buckner moment in the World Series. I mean, they're going to be back in the playoff picture, but they don't seem like, it doesn't seem like good times over for the Pinstripes.
So Soto is so good, and he's 26. And I mean, it's rare to get a free agent of that caliber so young. But like at 700 something million dollars, like I don't know if I really want my team to spend that money.
No, I understand that part, but also, how much did they give Judge?
Like 350 million less.
Okay, all right. So,
But
yeah,
Judges also signed that contract at like 6 years older than Soto.
that's true. That's true.
Maybe not that old, but Judge was a rookie at like 25. Soto was a rookie at 19 or 18.
Yeah. So they're into him a lot of money, but not near as much as they would have been for Soto. I mean, it's hard to argue against Judge for the regular season and to get you to the playoffs, but boy, he was pretty non-existent through the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
No, like he's like, what is his first year? He went on a tear in the playoffs and then kind of not much of anything since, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't affect me any to see the Yankees lose, but it seems like they're in a little, they're a little worse for wear after losing Soto. Like, it's not so much that they, I mean, they lost a hell of a player. They didn't have to pay the ginormous salary, but where do you go from here? Like, you just regroup.
I mean,
They didn't really reload either.
I thought they got like Goldschmidt, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, that's true.
And who's the pitcher from the Braves?
Oh, Freed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got a few players.
Yeah, I mean they're the Yankees, so they're not afraid to go spend some money. So this is from Fangraphs. This is the.
Can we take a break before we get into this part?
Yeah, actually, let's do that. I need to go take a leak too.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we're back. So this page you sent from Fangraphs, it looks like we got the 2024 final tally depth chart, and then the 2025 projected. So Dodgers obviously won. They won 98 games, Braves 89.
So this is sorted by wins for projected next year.
Okay. So yeah, so they're projecting Dodgers, Braves, Yankees, Phillies. No real surprise there. Mets coming in at 5th. Diamondbacks at 6th. They're high on the Diamondbacks, huh?
Yeah, I mean Diamondbacks were really good 2 years ago, right?
And they kind of fell apart down the stretch this year, but they honestly they should have been in the playoffs.
They had some crazy good stretches there and like fell apart.
Yeah, they because it came down to the Diamondbacks and the Braves to get in for that final spot, didn't it? Yeah.
The Padres kind of their.
Yeah, Padres went off. They until they came up against the Dodgers. But I mean, hell, they started off really hot against the Dodgers too. But
I mean, Rangers is the other one, like World Series for a couple years ago, right? Like,
really didn't pan out last year, but there's no reason why they couldn't be really good. The Red Sox made some moves so they were right at 500, and I think they were just. I don't think they really had much going on down the stretch. I think they were out I think they were officially eliminated about a week with a week left or something like that.
Who? Oh, the Red Sox. Yeah. That was an outside shot, but they.
Yeah. But they went and got that Garrett Crochet from the White Sox, and they did I can't remember who else they got, but yeah, so they're projected to win 84. Mariners again. What do they do? They still got a really great starting rotation, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, like the craziest thing that is that they just didn't. I thought they'd go out and spend money on a big bat. Like Alonso would have fit perfectly in that system.
Oh yeah,
and like Alonso ended up with like a shit contract. They could have gotten him easy. They should have just spent the money. I mean,
that seems like
just got to spend the money.
I really feel like Alonso is like a bargain of the off season. He's really improved his defense, and he's still just. I mean, he hits the long ball. That's just what he does. His strikeouts have improved. He's just got better.
So I think his original offer was like $150 for 6 years or something like that. And he ended up signing for like, what is it, 50 over 2?
I think so, yeah.
And I mean, it's really bad. And like, Scott Boras has had a couple bad off seasons for some big players.
Yeah, I feel like the Mets really came out ahead on that one.
They got a steal.
They got their guy for little or nothing, honestly.
And they're out as he's. I mean, they can be out in 2 years, and you might not want to sign him again for that kind of big money, right?
Yeah, so like if he goes off and continues his the way he has been going, well, they could they could shop him middle of next year. They or they could bring him back. Like it might cost them some money, but in the meanwhile, they saved a shitload of money in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so wait, I should say this. I should have said this up front, but like Fangraphs is very conservative about win-loss totals.
Okay.
Like they usually don't project anything like super high or super low. A lot of stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
But like one of the crazy things is like the Mets are projected to do worse than last year, even though they like added
They
one of
brought
the best
Soto
players.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Soto's worth like six wins, you know.
Yeah, that
So
seems.
I don't necessarily believe it, but still kind of. I think maybe the order might be right for this, but I think there's maybe a lot more 90-win team. I mean, I think there's more than 2 90-win teams.
I mean, if the Dodgers don't win 110, don't they kind of fail at that point with that roster?
I mean, they could win 95 games, and it doesn't matter if they don't make a World Series. That's
true. I mean, honestly, with that roster, that's a legit complaint. Honestly, I mean, like baseball's weird and it can go either way, but with that amount of talent, yeah, without winning the World Series,
maybe not winning it, but they gotta go,
or at least getting there. Yeah,
they gotta go.
Yeah, I mean that's a retarded number of elite players on one roster.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of this kind of makes sense. I don't know. I mean, one of the things, like one of the big like drop offs here is the Padres. They won 93 games last year. They're projected to win 82.
82.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't seem. That doesn't really. So they've barely made any offseason signings. They've lost a couple big players.
Yeah, so they lost Profar, and who else did they lose?
Snell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they lost Snell.
2-time Cy Young Snell.
Yeah, and he didn't really pitch last year, though, right?
No, he did. He was okay.
Oh, he did. Okay, that's right.
And then there's Ha-Seong Kim is gone.
Yeah, they
solid middle infield.
And the catcher too, isn't he gone too? With the
Will
Japanese
Smith?
last or
Higgy
something like that, yeah.
Higgy. He's gone, yes. And so is one of their like elite middle relievers was it Scott? I forget who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they lost several key players and they're not bringing anyone in. I think they got a couple. They probably got a couple guys coming up for the minors that are going to help fill out some depth, but I don't expect them to be starters. I thought, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I mean, I know they got like a huge payroll. Maybe they want to roll it back a little bit. I don't know if they're up over the luxury limit, but
yeah,
I thought that with them like going toe to toe with the Dodgers in the playoffs the last couple of years,
you'd think that
you'd want to like keep up. Yeah.
Maybe they just can't. I don't know. It's
So I think one of the issues is the owner died. And it went to his brother.
Okay.
Who seems it seems like so the owner had a wife who didn't go to. She's kind of pissed about it and is suing. And I think for good reason. It sounds like the brother has like took control. I think maybe the wife has like some ownership, but the brother took control of the ownership by like selling a bunch of assets to himself at a huge discount to be able to come up with capital to be able to take a majority ownership. And she's been coming out saying that he wants to move the team. And so it could be like some crazy shit that maybe he wants to like cut some payroll to be able to
we got a real life major league, but instead of Cleveland, it's San Diego. But
if you want to talk about
people actually want to go to San Diego and not Cleveland.
Yeah, the real life major league is the fucking Mavericks this year.
Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, the Mavs faithful are not happy.
Yeah.
So your Tigers, they're projected at 82.
So I got a couple things to say about it. This came out. This projection. Well, shoot, I don't actually know. The original projection came out before the Flaherty signing.
Okay, yeah, because they brought Flaherty back on a pretty team-friendly deal, right?
I think it's like a 2-year, like 36 mil or something like that.
It's kind of a win-win. I think kind of a prove-it deal.
I think it's a mutual option after 1 year.
Okay.
So I think they brought him last year. They brought him back on like a 8 or 9 mil 1 year contract.
Yeah,
he was great. He's a three ERA, starter for the full year.
He kind of got blown up in the playoffs a little bit, but he also went deep. Even when he got blown up, they sent him deep.
He got blown up in the first inning, and then he went another 4.
Yeah, he was not the best option they had, but he was the best option. He didn't perform great, but it wasn't. Like you said, it was all up front, and then he kind of. They fucking won the World Series. So
he had two outings though, right, in the World Series, right?
I think
so.
Just
had one, because I think one of them was really good, and in the second one was when he got blown up. But they won that game.
I think that's right. So he was shaky. I think is kind of fair to say, but he wasn't bad.
It's the first time he got blown up all year. Like I'm ecstatic to have him back.
I would be too if I was a Tigers fan. He's already familiar with the clubhouse. And it seemed like when they traded him, he wasn't bitter about anything either. So like if he fits right back in the clubhouse, that's even better.
Well, so Flaherty's from LA.
Okay.
He grew up as a Dodgers fan, so I think he was ecstatic to go to the Dodgers, and I'm sure winning a World Series with the Dodgers fulfilled all his childhood fantasies. But I think I think people in Detroit love him, and we kind of a little bit we brought him back from
And honestly, though, Tigers are kind of a hot team going into this next year.
So we lost 0 people to free agency, just because it's a very young team and there's not really any free agents. Got him and Cobb, and I think
didn't you get Gleyber Torres?
And we are. In the final 3 teams for Bregman.
Nice.
So I think the last I heard, maybe a month ago, was that we were maybe over the annual average value, but he wants a longer contract, and no one wants to sign him for that long of a contract. So I think the Tigers could maybe bring that annual value down a little bit and extend it out to maybe a 5-year. He wants a 6 or a 7. If we give him a 5 for $28 million a year. I think that'd be great, and that moves that. That's at least he's worth at least four wins.
Oh yeah. I mean that's a good addition if you can get it for the right money. I mean the Tigers are sitting pretty good. They're sitting pretty good. I mean he brought Gleyber Torres is a big bring in too. Like that. He was one of the only guys that really produced for the Yankees in the World Series. I mean, he was, if I remember right, was it him or yeah, I think it was Gleyber Torres that was.
Hey,
like, he was solid.
Okay. I mean, he's solid. That's good. He's solid. But it kind of messes with the lineup a little bit because you got Colt Keith, who's a solid rookie last year. You got to move him over to first. Javi is not projected to be the starting day shortstop. It's actually Trey Sweeney, who we got in the trade for Jack Flaherty.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
So we traded Jack Flaherty for Sweeney and Terrianzo. Therio, who won the Arizona Fall League MVP.
Okay.
Catcher. So you got a solid prospect and a starting shortstop, and then we get Jack Flaherty back. So
I mean, it's that's not a bad day for a Tigers fan.
Yeah. And we got probably the second best pitching prospect coming up too.
Yeah.
He played in the playoffs. So
I think then on top of the Triple Crown winner.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's honestly like that guy's a horse. Tarek Skubal is one of those guys like even when he's like that Flaherty example where like even if he gets rocked a little like who cares? That guy's good for 100 pitches every time. Like go roll him out and he's got nasty shit. Just roll him out.
Yeah, I mean he's crazy. I saw him on a interview with Pitching Ninja maybe, but they're asking like, what pitch did you strike out like this guy, in this game? And like he's calling out like, slider away and like, change up in like, he knows the game so well.
That's
and
awesome.
He knows a player, like he knows his opponents. Like he's like a huge student.
See, I was when I was looking for cards to get you for Christmas, I was torn between Miggy and Skubal, and they had that. There was some cool Miggy ones, but like all the really cool ones were when he was still with the Marlins. And so I wanted a Detroit, and they had some fucking dope ass Tarek Skubal ones, so that's what I went with.
Oh, I love it. I mean, like for such a long time, like the Tigers were shit. At least I could see Verlander on Sunday,
right?
And now the Tigers are looking pretty good. A couple years ago they were shit and Skubal was there, but now they're good and Skubal's here, and it's it's great. Like every single time he's on the mound, it's a fun game.
It felt like it meant more as a fan of the team because like while Miggy is one of the best ever, he's also a Marlin first, and then won a World Series with the Marlins, and then came to he wasn't a Tiger he ended a Tiger, but he wasn't. He wasn't a Tiger all the way through where like Skubal was drafted, come up through the Tiger system. It seemed like a better fit anyways.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Thank you. This is perfect.
Yeah, no, man. It's like, I don't know, that's the cool fucking thing about sports is like, well, I'm not a Tigers fan. Like now I'm kind of a low key Tigers fan just because I got a buddy up there that's and like I don't know, man. It's just I fucking love sports like that. Like we can talk shit all we want, but also just like I like getting into to the nerdy little shit too. Because like, so we got the Mariners who, yeah, same thing. They're gonna have an awesome starting rotation. They might win the division, but I don't know. It's the fucking Mariners. It's like when they won 115 games and then lost in the divisional round.
Yeah. I mean, so I think Julio Rodriguez, who had maybe, I mean, you could call it a slump in his sophomore season. It's still a really good season, but I think he's going to have a huge year this year. He ended that year really well. Yeah. I think Randy Rosarena's still over there, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think having him the whole year, if he's there.
Astros. So they're pretty much out on Bregman, right?
So I mean, technically they're not, but I think Bregman said he's out. I think they gave him an offer, but I don't think Bregman wants it.
Yeah, the Astros, they're projected at 84 wins. It's hard saying they're not going to win the West again, just because they're kind of until they just shit the bed. You kind of don't bet against the Astros.
I think
playoffs.
Honestly, I think I want to bet against them.
I want to too. I don't like the Astros, but
I think there's a solid chance that they take third.
All right, I'm game.
Behind the Mariners and the Rangers. I mean, pretty much how it's ranked right here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Astros are.
Orioles were the talk of the league going into the season last year, and they just they were okay. They
had a terrible last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah. Well, and then like Jackson Holiday was supposed to be the guy, and he came out and then got sent down because he was terrible. And then they brought him back up, and he was a excellent defensive guy, but he was, I mean, mediocre at best with the bat. And
I think he bounced back. I think he bounces back.
You gotta think so. With the pedigree and everything, I mean, yeah, you gotta think so.
I mean, I say that, but Torkelson for the Tigers is supposed to be, a complete stud and busted. But I don't think I think Holiday can fix it. I mean, partly
I think so too.
He's also young too.
Yeah, he's really young. I mean, he fucking looks like a child.
19 or 20,
yeah. He's really young.
Also, they also got Kirstead in the minors who didn't really play. Colston, who's a rookie, you got a lot of play, but I think a couple of those guys take another step forward, and it's huge. The big thing is they lost Burns, right?
Yeah, they lost Corbin Burns to the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that hurts for sure. Yeah, I want to root for the Orioles, but I don't trust him.
It's not the Yankees. I don't know where he went though.
Oh, did he go to Arizona?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think he went to Arizona, which that's why the Diamondbacks shot way up too. I mean, they were already had a good roster, but
Jesus Christ, fuck. Diamondbacks rotation: Burns, Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Fett. I don't know how to say this.
Yeah, they're gonna be dirty good.
That's a rotation.
What about the Cubbies? Do you think they're gonna do anything? I don't buy them.
I mean, everyone says they should, and I don't understand. I don't know. I think the Cubs last year is what I would expect out of the Cubs.
That's kind of what I thought. So last year was the first year I really got back into baseball, and everybody was really high on the Cubs preseason, and I mean they had a good roster, but it just didn't.
They had some injuries, right? Like Seiya Suzuki was on the IL for a bit. I can't. Oh no, Shota Mangana.
Imanaga, yeah.
Yeah. He was. I think he was on the IL for a bit too, right?
I think so too.
But they brought in Kyle Tucker this year, who in like a third of a season was worth like four wins. So I mean, he's just like monster season. So if he can stay healthy and put up those kind of numbers, I mean, that's a huge difference maker.
And if you look down at the Brewers and they dropped down to 500 season, they won 80 or 93. I don't see them doing that again. The NL Central was pretty tight, if I remember right. The Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, we're all in it. And who's the other? Pirate, and the Pirates were there for a minute, and they got Skeens, so he's solid money when he's on the mound.
Well, and I mean, I keep thinking that the Reds are going to be better too.
Right, and they should be. Yeah, that's another one. The Reds. I mean,
Ellie De La Cruz is.
Yeah.
He's a future MVP, and
that Central is wide open, man.
They got a couple pitching or rookies should be good too. So
and I think the Brewers come way back down to earth this year. And yeah, I mean that NL Central is wide open.
Yeah.
The Twins are going to be pesky as shit again, aren't they? Like
I don't know.
They're not gonna do anything, but they're always gonna be a problem.
I mean, Twins like 2 years ago were really good. 2-3 years ago were really good. I don't know what happened to them. I mean, they at some point I think they set a sometime very recently they set a record for home runs, and just completely fell apart. And I don't get it.
Whatever the fuck happened to Joe Mauer? Remember when he was awesome?
Well, I mean that was 15 years ago.
Well, I know, but then he was just he was out of the league. He was awesome, and then he was just gone.
Well, no, he was awesome, and then he was just okay for 10 years.
That's true.
Yeah, he had that insane. Well, it's not even that insane, but it is an aberration of his career, his MVP year, and then he was just an okay, above average catcher for another 10 years. The one that fell off was Morneau. Morneau had that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Morneau really fell off. He played for the Rockies too, huh?
Well, so the reason he fell off big was he got a concussion and never really came back right.
Oh, was that it?
He had some vertigo for forever after that.
That's probably when the Rockies signed him.
Yeah. Actually, he kind of had a nice season with the Rockies.
He did all right. Yeah, he wasn't a bad. I think they got him pretty cheap too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was one of the rare good offseason pickups for the Rockies was Justin Morneau because he was a shell of his former self, but did all right. Let's see. So Twins they're always like that. They're just they're a better version of the Rockies. They're never quite in it, but they're always kind of in it. And the Rockies are just a step below that.
Yeah. Shoot, I'm just thinking about the AL Central here. Where's the Guardians? Are they really low or really high here?
Let's see. Low. They're projected at 77.
77 from 92. That's a huge drop off, and I kind of don't see it. I think they're just kind of.
Who did they lose some big names?
They lost one of the Nailers,
That's right.
and that's all I can really think of.
They lost Josh Naylor, right?
Yeah.
But well, let's see what that other one you sent. Let's see. So Soto to the Mets, obviously. Willie Adames to the Giants. Profar, that was a big loss for the Padres when signed with
I thought he'd come back.
I thought he would too. He was kind of the he was kind of like the what do you call it? Like he was like the vibes guy in that locker room. Like
yeah.
And had a fucking great season too. Like Bregman still unsigned, Corbin Burns to the Diamondbacks.
Nick Martinez is staying.
Okay, yeah. So
San Diego. Oh no,
he resigned with the Reds.
All right, never mind. I don't know who I'm saying.
Let's see. Kikuchi went to the Angels. Teoscar re-signed with.
Kikuchi had a really nice year with Houston.
Yeah, he did.
After the deadline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did really well. Teoscar, I like Teoscar Hernandez. He's the Dodgers and another team or franchise I can't get behind, but that Dodgers team last year was fun as fuck.
It's funny because like I can't root for the Dodgers, but like so many players on the.
Oh, dude, it was like Freddie Freeman had like one of the most iconic moments ever with that walk-off. I mean, the bat flip and everything was. I mean, I was like, I'll never not be a Freddie Freeman fan after that.
Oh, definitely.
Fuck the Dodgers and everything about them, but that team was fun as shit. Yeah, Nick Martinez re-signed. Max Fried from the Braves to the Yankees. Waka re-signed with the Royals for 18 mil. No, 17 a year, 3 years for 51. Santander went to Toronto. What's your thoughts on Toronto? Are they going to do anything?
Man, Toronto wants to, and it's so funny. Like they keep offering like huge contracts, and like people back out on them. They got like a lot of solid players, and I just don't think that they're ever going to do anything. Partly just
they
because
had the run of like old stars' sons. So they had Kevin Biggio. They've got the Bo Bichette, and who's the other?
Vlad
Jr. Yeah. So they're just like, and they're all. Well, I don't know what Kevin Biggio is doing. He got traded.
He's done, or he's not.
He got traded to the Yankees, but I don't even think he was on their postseason roster.
Yeah.
Vlad Jr. put up another good year.
Another guy who's got overshadowed by some like Judge, some amazing Judge seasons.
Yeah. And then Bo Bichette didn't really do much of anything. He got hurt, didn't he?
I think he got traded too.
Did he too? Oh shit. So like that whole like new school, old school core that they were running with is now gone, huh?
Yeah, but they got some players. I can't remember exactly, but they
always do. But they just can't seem to put it together. It seems like Flaherty back to the Tigers. That was a great move for the Tigers. Snell to the Dodgers. Of course, why not? Carlos Santana to the Guardians. 1 year at $12 million.
I forgot about that. That's a solid play.
That's a solid pickup. Christian Walker to the Astros. What'd they sign him for?
What's that contract?
3 years. 3 years, 60.
Is that this contract? I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Looks like. All right, so yeah, he was at 3 years for 60.
Oh, the actual contract's far right.
Oh, okay, far right.
3 for 60. Yeah.
Jock Peterson went to the Rain. That's a good pickup for the Rangers. Jock Peterson's a tough out.
It's kind of a lot of money for him.
It is.
I'm not saying I mean,
two for 37. I mean, it's but like I say, he's a tough out.
Yeah.
And he's a big momentum guy too. Like when he goes off, it's pretty infectious. Sean Manaea stays with the Mets, 3 years, 75. Nathan Eovaldi stays with Texas. Ha-Seong Kim too. He hasn't signed yet.
No, Ha-Seong Kim, Rays.
Oh, Tampa Bay. They're okay.
Iglesias on side.
Are they moving to Austin? I heard they were moving to Austin.
I don't think Austin can do it. Well, not recent, not right now. So they're playing in the Yankees AAA stadium this year.
Yeah, because their stadium got fucked up in that hurricane.
Yeah.
Which also their dome was cloth. That seems not great.
Yeah, I mean, not in that climate.
I mean, that seems like a bad idea all the way around. Tyler O'Neill went to the Orioles from the Red Sox.
Oh, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, that's a good move. 3 years, 49.5. Andrew Heaney is not signed yet. Luis Severino to the A's, 3 years for 67. That's not a bad signing for the A's. Not a great. I mean, it's not a flashy signing, but it's not bad.
He puts out some innings, but man, he's like all over the place.
Yeah, but if you're the A's, you got anybody better? It's not like he'll chew up some innings for you. Pete Alonso back to the Mets.
2 for 54. Yeah, I mean, that's
seems like a steal.
Yeah.
Hoffman from the Phillies to Toronto, 3 years, 33. Pavetta unsigned. Trevor Williams went to the Nationals. Kirby Yates, that was he went to the fucking Dodgers. Of course he did.
And I mean, I know it's been a little bit since he's been like super elite or a closer, but like Dodgers having him just like your 7th inning guy is insane.
He'd be a closer pretty much anywhere else, and you're just like, we'll throw him in where we see fit.
Yeah,
insane. Any other? Patrick Corbin unsigned.
Oh, Tanner Scott's the one I was thinking about from the reliever from Padres, who's pretty solid.
Oh yeah, Yeah, he went to the Dodgers. 4 years, 72 million.
Fuck, that's so much money for
God
fucking
damn.
probably maybe not their closer.
No, probably not their closer. Like
so much money.
that's insane. Good for you, Tanner Scott. Higashioka, I think that's how you say it. Higashioka. He went to Texas. I mean, Rangers are kind of loading up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like the depth, they're adding a lot of depth, and that's
Yeah, I mean, like
it's good.
They're not like making splash moves, but they're making like big name depth moves.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Kenley Jansen to the Angels. I mean, honestly, the Angels could make a run. That's a weak division.
They've added a ton of people, and I don't think they're going to be good, but like I don't think they're going to be bad.
On paper, there's not a ton of reason they shouldn't be good, but yeah, that's always that on paper part.
I hear Trout's getting moved to maybe left.
Yeah,
instead of center.
How long before they just make him DH?
I heard they're going to play him at DH too this year. So I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate because he's also like a really good defender. But that is,
I know it's a shame. He's legit like a generational talent, but can't ever stay healthy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of the things that like I remember Miggy talking about is like, you know, when he had like some injury issues and he kind of did for like the last like maybe 6 years of his career, but is that he never felt right batting when he wasn't playing the field because he just couldn't stay hot or he couldn't stay warm.
Yeah,
and I get that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. You kind of want to get as much out of Trout as you can. If you only play him one way, you're missing
for
like
real,
half
man.
his name.
Yeah, but when the object is to score runs and you can if you can use a bat and save on keep his bat year round.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. It's just disappointing all the way around because as just a fan of good baseball, you want to see that guy out there doing his thing because that's what we pay for. That's why we love the game. So it's disappointing when somebody that with that talent just is not on the field.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Conforto, another Dodgers signing, 1 year, $17 million. God, I mean, that's all got to fall apart for the Dodgers at some point, don't it?
I mean, maybe, but if you win enough championships before it does,
and it is LA. They do love the Dodgers, and with that comes, I don't know if it's literally, but pretty much every Mexican American comes along with that Dodger fan. I don't know if I've ever met a Mexican that's not a Dodger fan. And yeah, I mean, so like, yeah, if you keep winning, I guess you'll be able to pay for it somehow eventually. But it seems like that's gotta fall apart at some point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but like, it might be worth it if you can make enough money before it does.
True. I mean, if I was Dodgers front office, I'd be like, can we afford this? I don't know. Let's try it anyways. Like, yeah, I don't know if your object is just to win World Series championships, like, seems like they're doing their part. They're throwing shit at the wall and they're throwing some big big pieces at the wall.
Have as many home playoff games as possible, right?
Yeah, no shit. And well, I guess at this point they don't have to worry about Clayton Kershaw in the in the postseason. So
well,
they,
he was pitching this week for the team. He's going through a physical, but they offered him another contract. So
he's another one where, like, I'm kind of glad he didn't win in the postseason because fuck the Dodgers. But that guy he was so elite.
That curveball is insane. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like he's one of those. You think he gets in first ballot Hall of Fame? I think he should.
He better. I mean,
he should.
Three Cy Youngs, career ERA under like 2.75.
Oh, he's elite until October, and then just falls apart.
Fine, but he still technically has 2 World Series, even if he didn't pitch in one of them.
Yeah.
But he's also one of the very rare pitchers to have an MVP.
Yeah. I mean, he should be a first ballot, but
I mean, if CC's a first ballot, Kershaw better be a first ballot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, if CC gets it and Kershaw don't, then that's. I mean, well, we'll still bitch about the Hall of Fame voters, anyways. But
every single year,
every year. Man, I'm fucking stoked for baseball. I'm also really. I was listening to Baseball is Dead podcast the other day, and that's Dallas Braden's on there. So he's the A's play-by-play guy, and I don't remember if you were at the house when he threw his perfect game, but I remember there was a handful of us on at the house watching, because it was like we didn't start watching the A's. I forget who was playing, but then they cut into it because like, oh, we got a perfect game going, so they cut in like in the 7th inning, and that guy's got a really cool story because he grew up in Stockton, which is just outside of Oakland. So like he grew up an A's fan, got drafted by the A's, and then threw a perfect game on Mother's Day, and like he immediately went and hugged his grandma, and I was like, that's fucking cool. I don't like. He could be a giant piece of shit, but I'm a fan of that guy now because of this moment.
I watched that game at a bar.
So yeah, it was fucking awesome, and that was the cool thing about ESPN in the days where they just like cut to a game like that. And I don't know if they still do that, but I know in the playoffs they had like number of at bats till Shohei was up, but
no, they'll still cut to it.
That's cool because it's a history making moment, and so but he seems to be pretty stoked about the A's some of their offseason moves. It seems like a lot of homer talk to me, but I
mean, yeah, fine, but like Butler is a future stud. Rooker's a stud now.
Who's their that closer kid was insane.
Mason Miller.
Yeah, like that dude is. Yeah, he can throw some fucking fire. So, and that division's not strong. So,
no.
So like it could happen. I'm excited to see it. Get to know some of their players, but I'm excited. Baseball's back. It's football was fun. College football was more fun than NFL this year, I thought, but.
Definitely.
But it was all just filler until the real sport's back.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. Like everything's feels like better in the world now that baseball is starting to come back. So
I know it. So we were talking before. We're gonna do like a full preview once we get closer to opening day, but early season or early preseason picks. I mean, it's hard. Like we were saying before, if the Dodgers don't win a World Series with I mean, the lineup last year was ridiculous, but they've just they like doubled the lineup this year. It's retarded the amount of talent they have. So I just going off of that, it's hard to see how they don't make it back to the World Series, if not win it.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely my NL choice for the World Series. AL, I don't know. There's probably a few teams that are in the race there, but Yankees.
Yeah,
Orioles,
Yankees
maybe.
are always in it. Orioles.
Tigers, baby.
I'm rooting Tigers. I think the Royals will be back up in there.
Yeah.
Bobby Witt needs to perform better in the postseason. He did okay. He had some moments, but he was not the guy they were hoping for in the postseason.
No, but he's young. You'll figure
he's
it out.
young. I think he will too.
I don't know.
I mean,
Judge hasn't, so maybe
that's true.
Maybe not.
I don't know, but there was that moment when the Yankees were celebrating their ALCS win, and Bobby Witt's the last Royal in the dugout just watching it, and you're like, all right, well, maybe he learned something. Put that chip on your shoulder and get to work, man.
Yeah.
I think the Central's going to be pretty tight again for the AL. Tigers, I mean, Tigers look good, man. They really look good.
Yeah, I mean, again, like it's Tigers, Guardians, KC, Minnesota is probably going to be a bit of fighting a little bit harder than last year. And it's gonna be tight, except for the
White
play
Sox
14 games against the White Sox.
The White Sox are not going to be good. The Rockies are not going to be good. Go back to that depth chart deal. So we got, bringing up the rear, we got the Nationals, the Marlins, the Rockies, and the White Sox. Projected 73, 71, 65 wins for the Rockies, and 63 for the White Sox.
That's rough.
That's tough. The A's are projected at 76 wins, so better starting position than the Rockies, but it's a good transition to just being pissed off at your baseball team. If you're gonna pick a new team, I suggest picking a consistent winning team. But that's for pussies. Pick a loser and be miserable the rest of your life.
A loser, I don't
know. They've won. They every now and then they'll do something.
What'll really piss you off is picking someone like the Angels, who a little bit below average every single year.
Right, but
the best player on the planet.
Yeah, they'll spend some money, and at one point they had the two best players
of the planet,
and never made the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's I remember being a foster kid right when Angels and the Outfield came out, and so like hit me right in the feels, but he was like, my dad's only going to come back if the Angels win the pennant. And they're like, well, good luck with that, kid. Your dad's never coming back.
Yeah. Same with me.
Yeah. That was a great movie, by the way. I mean, technically, a lot of holes in the plot, whatever. I enjoyed that movie so much.
Definitely.
Nacho butt. I think that's part of the reason why, like, there's like me and you and a lot of our crew we're pretty hardcore baseball fans, but baseball had the best movies back in the day too. Like all the like Little Giants was pretty okay, but come on, Sandlot, Rookie of the Year, like just like it was baseball hit after baseball hit as a kid. So yeah, it was hard not to be a fan.
Definitely.
All right. Let's go real quick across the divisions and like I said, this be like the super early predictions before we figure out how everything shakes out before the spring training starts. I think the Rangers take the AL West, Dodgers NL West. Pretty. Something really weird would have to happen for the Dodgers not to win the NL West.
So I definitely got the Dodgers. I think the Mariners, AL.
Mariners is a good pick too. I mean that pitching staff's hard to bet against. The Central, let's see. I'm gonna go Tigers AL. I think it's gonna come down to I don't know what the down the stretch schedule looks like, but it's gonna come down to the Tigers and the Royals. I think the Tigers come out ahead. They got a pretty good pitching staff. So the Royals ain't bad, but I think the Tigers got the better pitching staff. They win the Central. Shit, let's go the Reds. Let's go Reds at NL Central. Why not? Why not?
I love it. All right. I'd love for the Reds. I think it's probably going to be the Cubs, and
probably so. But
obviously,
I ain't picking the Cubs. I'm never picking the Cubs, even if they're the best on paper.
I want it to be the Pirates or the Reds.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna.
No, they got two of my favorite young players, O'Neal Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz, but I think it's gonna be well, whatever. Hopefully one of them.
Yeah, I would love to see the Reds or the Pirates for sure. And if the Cardinals squeak it out, so be it. I don't mind the Cardinals, but fuck the Cubs. Fuck the Cubs.
Fair enough.
Let's see the East. We got. I'm gonna say the Orioles. I wanna because smart money says the Yankees in the East because they seem to know how to buy enough players to put a good team together. But I really don't know how that's gonna like. Aaron Judge was not good in the playoffs, and he had possibly the pivotal moment in the World Series.
Yeah, that was rough.
I mean, and
it's hard
then
to come back from that.
And then the guy that they brought over pretty much stole all of your street cred with New York. Like Juan Soto became the mayor of New York, and then he jumped ship for the crosstown rivals. So I think all that adds up a little bit. I think New York is, or I think the Yankees. I think they may come back with a vengeance, but I think they're hurting pretty good right now. So I'm gonna go Orioles, NL East. It's hard to bet against the Mets right now. Philly's still got a good team. The Braves are making moves, and the Marlins suck. Give me Phillies. I think the Phillies take it.
All right, I got the Braves, and I think you're probably right. I think it comes down to like the last week between the Yankees and the Orioles, and I want the Orioles to take it.
Yeah, that's more of a heart pick for me.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I want them to take it. I don't know if I don't think they will, but I want them to.
I don't know if they will. I'm not positive that they will, but
Money says Yankees gonna take it, but I want the Orioles.
they're in the same category with the Cubs for me. Is even though the money says I'm not not betting Yankees, not betting Cubs. All right. So who do you think's going to be the most surprisingly good team?
Like
overperformer, overperformer of the year, I'd say.
Overperformer. Okay. Overperformer. Damn, that's hard. Fuck. I hope it's the Tigers.
I'm right there with you on that. I hope it's the Rockies. It's not going to happen. I think the Angels might be in that category. I know we talked. I was pretty down on them earlier, but the more we went over it, like I don't know, man. The Angels could really overperform compared to last year. They lost 99 games last year, so. Long way to go up.
I think they made a lot of really good moves, and hopefully Trout is healthy because I just want to see the best player.
I do too.
Baseball.
I don't care if he wins or lose. I just want to see the guy on the field.
Yeah.
I think the A's could make a pretty solid improvement. They lost 93 games. I bet they could win 80.
I forget where's the Cardinals. I think they can make a solid bounce back.
Let's see. Cardinals
83 games.
83. They're projected at 78.
I think they can do better than that.
The Cardinals
have. It's been a long time since the Cardinals have been bad in for several years in a row.
Right, I'm in that same boat. Like they might have a bad season, but they'll bounce back. Marlins are gonna suck. Nationals, I don't know what to think about them. I hope the Pirates finish over 500. The Giants. The Giants are kind of a sleeper in the National League West. They're not going to win the division, but I bet you they're in that playoff conversation.
I bet they're in the conversation, and I bet it doesn't. No one talks about them in the last month.
Probably so. Honestly, that's not a bad sleeper pick for World Series. Like when the Giants make the playoffs, they typically do pretty well. And that I don't know. They made some moves. They got better.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as underperformers, I think. I'd love to see the Dodgers underperform, but what does I guess losing a World Series is underperforming for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean the way this is set up right here, I think probably the Mariners.
I think for sure.
Underperforming. Twins.
The Braves, I could see them falling off to
well, they had a full year.
If everybody's healthy, they won't. But
yeah,
I mean,
that's the problem for them. Like every year, it seems like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were kind of the preseason favorites last year, and then they barely made the playoffs. They probably shouldn't have made the playoffs. Yeah, Diamondbacks. It's a hell of a rotation.
Yeah.
But it's not the Dodgers. It's good, elite, honestly, but there's Dodgers elite. So I don't know. Smart money would be Dodgers to win it. They were at. I can't imagine that the odds have changed too much, but they were at plus 265 to win the World Series next year. So $100 will win you 265. Yankees at. I mean, that's
low.
It's pretty low.
For his preseason, for a preseason bet, man.
Yeah. It's pretty low. Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid money if you wanted to bet just a flyer for real early preseason. You're getting the Dodgers at almost 3-1. It's not a bad bet. Next closest is the Yankees at plus 780, Braves 870, Mets at 1075, and then down from there. So my dark horses I think would be the Giants and I'm going to say dark horse for the Royals, and because I think the Tigers win the division, but we all know the Royals are pretty pesky once they get into the playoffs. So, Tigers played awesome last year, so it'll be. I think the AL Central is shaping up to be the best baseball watching this year.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun. I mean, if you want to take it like a dark horse, I think if the Mariners can make it to the playoffs, they can make a serious run.
I think so too. With that, I mean, with that
rotation,
rotation, not lineup, but with that pitching rotation, they're set up to do some damage in the playoffs. So
yeah,
that's not a bad dark horse. Yeah, I think Giants, Mariners is not a bad pick in the AL. I'd go 1A, 1B with the Royals and the Mariners. I don't really see any other like dark horse type of candidates in National League West or National League. I mean, Dodgers, Phillies, Mets, Braves.
I mean, I don't see anyone really contending after that.
Yeah, I don't either. So yeah, I think the Giants are about the only one that's not in that like the heavy hitters list that could make a run.
Yeah, that's a serious dark horse, right?
Right. Yeah, that's not something I'm gonna bet heavy on by any means. The Giants are. Plus 8,000.
All right. Put like $10 on that or whatever.
Yeah, $10 will win you 800. So it's not a bad little sprinkle. But fuck, man, I'm glad baseball's back. At the end of the day, this is kind of our main sport here, and we were throwing around the idea of doing a fantasy baseball league. So if anybody's interested, hit me up, and we'll have to think of some. Maybe we'll have to do some like weekly pools or something like that. I don't know if it'd be teams or players or something. We could switch it up even, but if we get enough people to listen and join in, we could do some fun stuff during baseball season. Keep it spicy.
Definitely. I'm in for if you want to start betting, like I'm in.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think the league's gonna happen one way or the other, but if anybody else is interested, I think we've got 3 people confirmed for right now. So no exact we don't have any details yet. But if anybody's interested, hit us up and we'll get you signed up, and it'll be fun. It's been a hot minute since I played fantasy baseball. So, but I will say, fantasy sports is the best way to stay in tune with the sport. Like you're forced to track other teams, and that's and baseball wise, it's the best way to stay up to date with all the players because they're in and out all the fucking time.
Yeah, it is a fun way to like find maybe some teams that you to watch that you wouldn't think about otherwise.
Well, and then it makes like the off season better too, because you're like, oh shit, we got that guy. All right, So it's fun. So hit us up, and and we'll be back. We'll be back next week or the week after. We'll kind of in limbo till opening day, but then we're gonna talk baseball from here until pretty much exclusively baseball until probably September. So
I fucking love it.
Fuck yeah. So all right, we'll see y'all next week. Move your ass. We're burning daylight.